Okay, so we're reading the Christ letters and we're on letter six. Letter six, it's the final letter of the Christ letters. Okay. Why quarrel? Why fight? Let me do something. So I'm not getting okay. All right, so yeah, so we're reading letter six and yeah. So according to the Christ letters, it starts. Why quarrel? Why fight? People wholly controlled by ego let fly the hammer away for their rights. Why quarrel? And sometimes that's a thin line that we draw sometime, you know. Should we respond? We have to fight for our rights. We think, yeah, that's a thin line. But I've come to learn um, that the power it takes to respond, um, to turn the other cheek, to turn the other cheek. That means don't give anyone your energy. If you want to know if you've grown, if you have improved, turn the other cheek. Someone can be going off the roof, doing you wrong, and you stay quiet. I don't think we understand the power of that. You turn the other cheek. Don't match energy for energy. Don't match it. I know that's not we grew oh the way we grew up. And sometimes you'll win these battles and sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll be like, afterwards, you can feel like, oh my God, this person's not even worth it. No one's worth your energy. No one's worth you're going in such a low vibration. For what? Why they? Nothing they do doesn't affect you. The power that lives within you, it's like, no, no, it's not worth it. It's worth more than gold. It's worth, the Bible describe it as what if you find that diamond. When you find this diamond, when you find this gem, it's not worth giving that energy to anyone, to anyone. So people can be yelling and arguing and what, and you ignore it. It, let me tell, and another thing, it not just how good it is for you, but that person, the power, the power that person look, it took the power it takes from that person. That person's energy is drained when you can look and be like, really, you're not worth it. No, I'm not gonna go in the dirt. I'm just gonna move on. You know, because that's just our ego. That's our ego take care of stuff. And our ego is not bad, but it's just trying to keep us in balance. And the only thing it needs, someone yelling at you, your ego is going to tell you, oh, don't yell at me. Don't disrespect me. Don't do this. And you don't have to say nothing. We have to learn that. We don't have to say nothing. We just keep moving. That's just our ego. And that's what they call sin. All the things that we do, what we think is against God, it's just our ego. You rob, you steal, you eat, you rob, you steal, whatever you do. That's just your ego trying to keep you in balance. Because your mind is out there, oh, I want this and I want that. And the ego does what it does. It's just yourself. As Paul tells us, that flesh. It's just that fleshy aspect of us, that physical aspect of us that needs its needs, that um needs to be filled up, needs all this need to be recognized. Everyone must see me. I'm this, I'm that, and everyone must fill up our ego with all these things. So that's it. That's what this is. So why quarrel? Why fight? People wholly controlled by ego let fly and hammer away for their rights. Spiritually mature people solve problems by discussing them empathetically. Spiritually mature people solve problems by discussing them empathetically. And you want to know what righteousness is? This is righteousness. This is what righteousness is. You don't go tit and tat with no one. No one. Yeah, especially you're seeing some of them, they think they're better than you. They're your supervisor. They're this, they're that. You don't need to do that. What does this mean in human terms? It means listening to the other person with the spoken or silent acknowledgement that the way the other person felt, feels, is in a certain situation is a valid and worthy, is as valid and worthy of respect as were are your feelings. That's what it's called. This is righteousness. This is righteousness. So, what does it mean by spiritually mature people solve problems by discussing them empathetically? What does this mean in human terms? It means listening to the other person with the spoken or silent acknowledgement and the way the other person felt, feels in a certain situation is as valid and worthy of respect as were are your feelings. When overtaken by a serious confrontation in which neither of you are prepared to yield an iota of ground, go away on your own and take time to realize that what you are engaged in is a battle of consciousness, a battle of your awareness, a battle of the knowledge of the situation. The battle is not enjoined only as a result of what was actually done and said in a moment of extreme heat. What really took place was the upshot of what you both are in consciousness. So So the battle is not joined only as a result of what was actually done and said in the moment of heat. So, you're arguing with somebody and we think it's what happened in that moment is causing this heated debate. Not necessarily the Christ letter is saying. What really took place was an upshot of what you both are in consciousness. And remember, consciousness is just what you are aware of, what level you're on. So if you're on a level where your ego is taking is controlling your day-to-day activity and your day-to-day reaction. And when I say ego, it's the same thing as flesh. It's just that momentarily thing that's been boiling all day, and it's just spilled over. It's not necessarily what happened and at that exact moment that's causing this uproar. This involves your backgrounds. The conflict springs from the personality itself, the type of ego drive a person possesses, the basic perceptions of right and wrong, the normal attitudes each have towards other people and life generally. Therefore, when you have conflict or confrontation, tell your opponent you are taking time off to stand still and quieten your mind to be stable, to be able to listen more helpfully. This is what being righteous. This is what righteousness is. What we're reading. Not everyone can do this. Not everyone can be empathetic when listening to other people. Not everyone can do this, especially, and everything is perception. Remember, everything is perception. It's not necessarily what the thing is. It's what we think it is. We have to remember that. So it's our perception of reality, our perception that we're being disrespected, that we're being talked about. It's our perception. We're just assuming it's not necessarily truth. We're just assuming that's what the case is. And this reality is built on perception. That's why I don't know why people debate over religion, because it's your perception of what the Bible you think the Bible is saying. What I'm saying here is my perception of what I think the Bible is saying, because we might say the Bible is God's word, but God didn't write the Bible. We all know where and how it was tainted. We have to, if we're not dependent on our higher self, the revelatory knowledge of the word, if we're just reading it by what we see or whatever, everything is perception. We can't read, and God's gonna do this, and we don't know what, we can't read God's mind. Who are we? Oh, who are we in our finite aspect of ourselves know what God's gonna do? We can't even describe what God is. Some of us. We can't describe what God is, because that wrath and vengeance and all that we read in the Bible, I don't know that God, you know, other than love. And what is love? You have to experience it to describe it. Okay. So this involves your backgrounds. Yeah, these are the things that's causing the conflicts. Therefore, when you have conflict or confrontation, tell your opponent you're taking time off to stand still and quieten your mind and to be able to listen more helpfully. And I mean, we always do that. We don't always do that because, oh, we're going to think, we don't want to lose. We're egotistical beings. We don't want to lose a confrontation. We don't want people to think they could run all over us and we're weak and all that. We think we're fighting for rights. Try then more helpfully, then be very wise. Call on divine consciousness for an intervention of loving consciousness into the situation. How much of us does this? How much of us does this? Does this? We don't call on our higher selves, and this is divine consciousness. We don't call on, we have so much help at our hand, divine consciousness. We have our guides, we have Christ Himself. Not to worship Him, to ask direction. You know, we don't use our help. We don't use our help. Other than we value our friend's opinion than the divine aspect of ourselves. What the divine aspect of ourselves gonna tell us, what our soul's gonna tell us. Mm? And some of us think, oh, not me. I can't call on what you talk. No, I was just having a conversation with the other day. Um, I'm like, with my higher self because I couldn't figure this out. What's next? And I put everything out there, and too, we're not honest. That's why we don't call for help. We have to be honest. And I'm like, this is what I really would want. This is what I would really do. And after I was totally honest of the direction I want to go, immediately it imprinted on my mind. Oh, do this. And when I came home, I looked it up on the internet and I did it. And yeah, I've seen the results. But we have been taught to sit down and wait on God. God is always waiting on us. So what you want to do, Jane? Jane, what you want to do? In your heart of heart, in your truth of truth. If listen, I want to stay home and don't work. That's fine. I want to do so and so. I want a husband right now. That's fine. Be honest. Be authentic. Be your most authentic self. The universe is very authentic. It doesn't matter what we say in our mouth. We say one thing and our energy is giving the universe a different feeling. Be authentic. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Be authentic. Please. You have your guide. We don't seek them when we're struggling. And a lot of reasons why we don't seek them either because we don't know who we are. We're going to ask Jesus to come help us. The same power, Christ tell us, the same power that's in Him is in us. Teach me, guide me, lead me. They're not going to do it. I'm telling you, it's not going to be done. There's a divine law that even the highest beings have to adhere to. You ask question, how do I do? Where do I go? Show me, guide me, lead me. Ask questions. Well, if you're in pain, ask for the pain to be removed. Whatever it is, ask. We have the whole universe at our beckoning call. When we volunteered to be here, we didn't come by ourselves. We didn't come by ourselves. The church called them angels. You could call whatever you want, your guardian angels, whoever. We have to take our human consciousness out of everything because we're thinking everything is like where the way the world is set up. You have rich, you have poor, you have to abide by authority and all this and all that. You are your own universe. You're limited because you're in this realm. And that's what you volunteer for. Next time you probably volunteer to be a guardian angel. Who knows? Hmm? Who knows? So I love this. Please always ask for help. Always ask for help. I was listening to a pastor preach this morning, and he was like, only if you believe you can have everything you want. You can do this, you can do that. It's more than a belief. When the Bible said only if you believe, it's like your belief system has to be totally changed to know when that you are the author and the finisher of your faith. You are that God you've been praying to. It's your belief system that has to be changed. That's what have to be changed. That's what have to change. You have to know that your thoughts and your emotions, those are the tools of your creation. Those are the things you use to create. We have to know that because you are creating the life you're living right now. No one ever tell you that. Too many times we have been told, oh, the devil is going to do this, and the devil has no power over you. If there's a devil, the gates of hell cannot prevail, Christ tell us. Hmm? He said, upon this rock, I'm going to build my church. What was the rock? Who do you think I am? Huh? When he asks his disciples, who do you think I am? He said, you are the Christ. That information. He said, flesh and blood didn't tell you that. It's Peter's divine self. It's the higher self. It's the soul. It's consciousness. Told him that. Who do you think I am? Hmm? Peter says, listen, you are the Christ. And Jesus looked at him, listen, Peter, flesh and blood didn't tell you that. That's coming from the spiritual realm. Hmm? And that's what my church has to be built on. That's what my church has to be built on. You seeking direction from the spiritual realm. That's what the church has to be built on. Your church has to build on your higher self. The church has to build that on that you are not just this physical being you're seeing in the mirror. There's a divine aspect of you. That's what Christ tried to tell us. So we shouldn't be down here dragging and pulling and in pain and in lack because who we truly are. We're spiritual beings and we're still connected to the spiritual universe. That's what the church should be built on. That's what Christ was trying to tell us. So we have to get out of this, oh, me, myself, and I. We stop valuing the opinion of your friends and family than the opinion of your divine self, than the opinion of the universe. Huh? Understand who we are. Understand who we are. Okay. Try to realize and visualize that both of you stand in the light of consciousness. Try to realize and visualize that both of you stand in the light of divine consciousness, equal in soul's origins. So when you're arguing with someone, when you're having a confrontation or anything with anyone, it's telling you try to realize and visualize that both of you stand in the light of divine consciousness, equal in soul origins, equal in destiny, equally real, equally human, equally unique. And this is what we're lacking. We have to understand that we're all God's children. We're all God's experiencing these things on earth. So when you realize that whoever you're arguing with, whether your husband, whether your mother, whether your whoever, your friend, whoever, try to realize and visualize when you ask, and this is why it's just making sure you know that why asking for divine help is important, because you're both from that divine realm. So don't say, "Oh, I'm going to ask for divine help," and she's got no. When you ask for that divine help, it's coming from the sanctuary. You have to, it's telling you, you have to realize and visualize that both of you stand in the light of divine consciousness, equal in soul origins, equal in destiny. Listen, no one's better than anybody. No one's better, no one's greater, no one's lesser. We're all the same. And we use our knowledge of this physical realm to understand the knowledge of the spiritual realm. We have to understand there's some things that we believe here on earth that is not true in the spiritual realm. There's no greater, there's no lesser. Christ tried to tell us in his words. To try to realize and visualize that both of you stand in the light of divine consciousness, equal in soul origins, equal in destiny, equally real, equally human, equally unique. Until you can fully immerse yourself in this realization, this state of mind, you are not yet ready to stand in the divine light to lovingly sort out your conflict and hurt feelings. Now, return to your opponent and suggest you should meet and each have 5 or 10 full minutes in which to clearly, quietly explain your point of view, your perception of what was actually said, and what the fight is really about, how feelings were hurt, how the matter should be resolved. Choose to let the other speak first, and again, surrender the situation to divine consciousness. If there is great deal of bitter accusation taking place, try to subdue your own ego and remain absolutely silent and calm. And this is just telling us how to resolve conflicts in our lives, how to resolve conflicts. And in we doing this, we also subdue the ego. We also subdue the ego. This will be a great help to the other speaker since he will feel he is being heard. And that's true. So many of the times while we get upset, we feel like we're not our point, we're not being heard, really. We're being totally ignored. How many times you say to your loved ones, "Are you ignoring me?" You know, our ego get oh, we're egotistical. So our ego get bruised when we think we're being ignored. We think we're being ignored, and we're not being heard. It does. Okay. This will be a great help to the other speaker since he will feel he's been heard. It will obviate the feelings of frustration. Rationally realize you are helping your opponent, but do not puff yourself up for being superior. Yeah, I mean, every minute of the day, we have to try um, to subdue that ego. Try your best to see how much of what is being said is true about yourself. Whatever it may be, if valid, bite your tongue and accept it. Be glad and rejoice, because in that moment you have had a moment of insight into your own human consciousness, giving you an opportunity to get rid a facet of ego drive. Yeah, yeah, that's true. And this is when you are try to be righteous, when you have your ego under, not control, I'm not going to say control, when you have your ego under subjection. Every time you are able to rid yourself of a little ego drive, you allow your soul more breathing space. Yeah. And room for more active control of your personality. You also rise in consciousness frequencies of vibration and feel a degree lighter within yourself. Yeah. Yep. It's our ego that's keeping us in this low vibration. It's our ego. Every time we overcome our ego, and we have to be mindful of it. It's the thing that we're not mindful of the role our ego is playing in our daily lives. And yeah, and it's hard because we were indoctrinated in even from we were a baby, and we need our ego. We can't get rid of it. The scriptures come into me when Paul says so and so in Christ be like, my grace is sufficient to keep you in all your ways. We can't, it's like Paul, I can't take the thorn in Paul's side. What is the thorn in Paul's side? It had to be his ego. Hmm? It had to be his ego. And Christ and be like, no, you can't take that away. We can't get rid of our ego, but his grace is sufficient to keep us in all our ways. It is sufficient. There's a word I want to do a deeper study on, grace. Grace, I want to do a deeper study on that word. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to read this again. It says, every time you are able to get rid yourself of a little ego drive, you allow your soul more breathing space and room for more active control of your personality. You also arise in consciousness frequencies of vibration and feel a degree lighter within yourself. And I'm going to put this in red because I want to remember it. This is so true. If you want to raise your vibration, you know, keep your ego under subjection. By these means, you grow psychologically and spiritually. Listen, let me highlight these. These are so much gems in this Christ letters. I just love these Christ letters. Listen to the feelings of the other person. Try to restrain your own and empathize with your sparing partner's emotions. Feel is hurt, is indignation, is anxieties. Put aside your own and feel his. And we're just talking about resolving conflicts. These are the things we do to resolve conflicts. What if these things were taught during marriage counseling? Mm? What if these things resolving conflicts were taught in marriages? Where marriages are suffering because of our ego. Because of our ego. Listen to these feelings of the other person. Try to restrain your own and empathize with your sparing partner's emotion. Feel his hurt, his indignation, his anxieties. Put aside your own and feel his. To just listen to the other person's point of view without butting in, and feeling empathy. Listen what the person is trying to say without our own perception of what we think he was trying to say, or her. Is represents both gender for brevity. Oh, sorry, it's not really, when he says is, it's talking about he or she. And when the Bible say he is in the Bible, he is talking about both gender. Talking about both gender. Okay? Ask yourself, if someone had said or done to you what you have said or done to the other, how would you feel? If you can set aside your ego sufficiently to be able to consider this, then you are on the way to overcoming the kind of ego drive which puts self above every other consideration and is unable to see any other point of view. And this is something that the church, well, the church is not a building really. We have to listen to other people's point of view. We think, oh, the Bible say, the Bible say. No, there's other, your perception of what the Bible said. There's other um, people's perception of what the Bible says. Is conscious cat? Yes, yes. Our ego has caused so many of our discomfort and turmoil, you know. Yeah. Before speaking, calmly wait in silence until your sparring partner's 10 minutes are fully up, even if it means he finishes before time, and both of you remain in silence for a while. Acknowledge as pleasantly as you are able that you have heard what he has said, and you can understand why he is upset. In that instant of self control, realize that you have gained a modicum of control over yourself and you have taken the first step in healing the situation. Yeah, yeah. It's not always easy, but the Christ letter is trying to help us overcome our ego and in turn resolve the many conflicts some of us face on a daily basis. So when we come into the knowledge of who we are, when we understand who we are, we're expected to act righteously, and acting Righteously is listen to others, people, perspective. Try to, because sometimes you can listen and they can't listen. So the best things, it says, call on divine consciousness, call on your higher self, call on the universe. Um, you don't have to do it in front of them, just in your mind, like, universe, take care of this. Remember, we're all divine beings. And because even if people don't come to the knowledge of who they are, they're still gods, they're still divine beings. There is that divine aspect of themselves, all knowing, even though they're totally ignoring it. That can step in and be like, listen, I need to um overcome this ego and let Mary get a message, to listen, so they can resolve this conflict. When we, yeah, we just have to, and this is what it's called, righteousness. So if we measure ourselves right, with these techniques to resolve conflicts, where are we? How is our righteousness? How is our righteousness? Acknowledge as pleasantly or as you are able that you have heard what he has said, and you can understand why he is upset. In that instant of self control, realize that you have gained a modicum of control over yourself, and you have taken the first step to healing the situation. And over yourself means over your ego, you know? And you overcoming that ego, as it tell us early, you're increasing your vibrational frequency. You're increasing your frequency. So it's important, when we're in a confrontation, that we try to remain, don't give anybody your energy, because then it lowers our vibrational energy, you know we try to be as empathetic, as calm as we can, listen as much as we can. You know, I know I blow up sometime, but I try. And after I blow up, I feel so terrible. You can know that you fell in vibration. Your energy is so depleted, you know. On the other hand, if you have not truly understand that he has told you, then you are mentally blocking. On the other hand, if you have not truly understood what he has told you, then you are mentally blocking something he is saying, which you do not want to hear or receive. Therefore, again, your ego is in control. Control it and inviting him to explain further. And again, do your best to put yourself in his place, feel his pain, understand his anger. Yeah. So, if someone's trying to explain something to you and you're still not understanding what they're saying, you're mentally blocking something, because you've probably been like, what a liar. That's not true. We have to, your ego is in that conversation. Your ego is allowing you to block him mentally. Control it. Control your ego and invite him to explain further. If you don't understand, say, explain, what were you trying to say? And again, do your best to put yourself in his place, feel his pain, understand his anger. Understand his anger. So when you have received the other person into your understanding and acknowledge it, his ego defenses will begin to lessen. You will see him begin to relax. Both of you will feel better. Having done this quietly, slowly, carefully, you then give an equally clear picture of the way that you felt in the circumstances. Do not use words calculated to set your opponent down and thus upset him. Remember that you are making an effort to control your ego as a prelude to unconditional love. Mm. Remember that you are working to achieve peace and understanding between you, not points, not to gain points. Remember that your reply should not lead to further conflict because you have used words likely to further upset him. If it does, then your ego has won the round against you. Mm. Your psyche has lost, and the psyche has to do with the mind. If you are both living in the spiritual frequencies of consciousness, it will follow that your opponent will accord you the same response of listening, thinking, and acknowledging your position as you gave him. But if he lives entirely in the earthly consciousness frequencies, that's the part you may encounter difficulties. You may feel you are trying to score points by being wholly superior or bigger in some way. Calm him down. This is how we deal. Okay, this is how we deal with people who are vibrating on a lower frequency. Yeah, and these are the character for divine that we are supposed to emanate. Yes, yes. My little brother is crying out for our siblings to listen to him, and they won't. Yeah, yeah. But sis, hear how we deal with those who are vibrating at a lower frequency than we are, because this is the struggle right now. Okay. All right. So if he lives entirely in the earthly consciousness frequencies, if he lives entirely in the earthly consciousness frequencies, that means they don't have knowledge of self. That means they do not have knowledge of self. They're the ego is in control. That's basically it. You may encounter difficulties. You may feel you are trying to score points by being wholly superior or bigger in some way. Calm him down. And I get this time, I get this so much. I get this so much that people, you're not being holy. You're not. They think if you don't wanna go in all the mud and dragging and arguing like you used to, you're trying to be holy. No. No, you're just protecting your energy. That's all that is. So calm him down, and he's using him for both sexes, as I mentioned earlier, for he or she. It doesn't necessarily mean a guy. Calm him down. Tell him it is painful to have conflict between you. You are only trying out a method to ensure both of you get a fair hearing from the other and reach a truly mutual forgiving reconciliation instead of a superficial one which hurt feelings are left to fester in the mind and heart and body. Yeah. You should each give the other the right to disagree in gentle words, giving valid reasons for the disagreement. Find the fortitude within yourself to recognize that you, as a human being, cannot possibly be always right, since you, like everyone else, has been born with controlling ego drive, which forces you to take up and strongly defend the position of top dog. And that's what our ego does. Our ego wants us to be in control. Remember that whilst you believe yourself to be top dog, he too believes the same thing. He too believes the same thing. Where did I? He too believes the same thing. Humanly, he believes himself to be at least on an equal level with yourself, if not superior. Whatever his ego causes him to think about himself and his point of view is exactly the same as your ego causes you to think about your opinion and ideas. We think we're so different. We think we're not that different. When you can bring divine consciousness into the arena of your human consciousness, you have literally received with compassionate acceptance and love the human reality of each of you into yourselves. I've dissolved the negativity between you and raised the frequency of your consciousness vibrations, leaving you feeling lighter and more vibrant. Since this leaves you in perfect peace, no longer in conflict, this is extremely important to your well being. If, however, you should refuse to listen and empathize and accept with love and forgiveness the truth of another person, the rejection creates an emotional magnetic rejection energy which joins and reinforces other residues of rejection energy force within the consciousness electromagnetic fields of your entire system. Rejection magnetism depletes the bonding magnetism between cells and ill health sets in. And just reading this, um, just before we come into the knowledge of who we are, these are the things we have experienced growing up. You know, that rejection. Now we just think we weren't being listened to. We think we're not important, you know. We think, and sometimes it's just the way society let us feel like that. Just sometimes it's just the way society, um, that rejection. That's why they create this race thing. That's why they create this class thing, because those things are creating such a negative energy, and they let us think, oh, if you don't spoil your kids, don't give them everything, don't do this, you know so the more you tell, and Christ letters went into this before, the more you tell a child, no, no, it doesn't have to be yes or no, 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 that does something to his ego. He's gonna start feeling like he's not good enough, and even to the point that, oh, my parents don't like me, and so the things we've been taught the things we've been taught as really, as go as far as cause depletes our energy, and in depleting, people feeling rejected and dejected, cause illness in our bodies, illness in our bodies. So these are the things we have to be mindful of. We really have to be mindful of the way we treat others, the way we treat others. All right, so I'm going to read this paragraph one more time. It really resonates with my spirit. If however you should refuse to listen and empathize and accept with love and forgiveness the truth of another person, the rejection creates an emotional magnetic rejection energy, which joins and reinforces other residues of rejection energy force within the consciousness electromagnetic. Okay. Uh, Joins and reinforces other residues, other negativity. Um, with the consciousness electromagnetic fields of your entire system. Rejection magnetism depletes the bonding magnetism between cells, and ill health sets in. And if you follow me on Thursday, we have to understand how everything is energy. Um, our cells, everything that makes up our bodies is energy, and our emotions, our thoughts. These are the tools that helps us either gain energy or lose energy. We call it the electromagnetism. Those are the two. Divine energy talks about magnetism being bonding and rejection, and bonding is it's just, and if we do the same thing, our cells does the same thing. So when you feel bonded to something, it improves your energy, makes you feel good. When you feel rejected and dejected, you're in your low energy, low vibrational. Magnetism is just this powerful energy that makes us up. Powerful. This fact of existence is the ground of all psychomatic medicine. And we see this is a fact of existence. Rejection magnetism depletes the bonding magnetism between cells, and health sets in. So we have to be mindful of that. If we receive it, try not to give it, you know, try not to give that rejection. Let people feel rejected and dejected, and it's now we know this fact. We have to be mindful the way we treat other people. All right. This fact of existence is the ground of all psychosomatic medicine. People who constantly blame and judge others and keep a wholly closed mind in regard to their own part in conflict eventually experience some kind of radical breakdown in their physical or emotional makeup. Mm, mm. This is powerful. This is very powerful. It says people who constantly blame and judge others and keep a wholly closed mind in regard to their own part in conflict eventually experience some kind of radical breakdown in their physical or emotional makeup. And this is truth, because when you come into the knowledge of who you are, the first person you have to work on is self. And know that nothing outside of you um, is affecting you. There is no devil. Everything is your fault. It is me. Everything is me. Everything is me. If you constantly, uh-huh, uh, oh, sis, I will be reading my sister. So when we reject someone, the projection of the magnetism repels and dispels and causes the injury, because the ego energy that was used, yeah, as a tool. Yes. Yes, the ego energy was used as a tool. Exactly. Exactly, sis. Exactly. So, yeah. So if you keep blaming other people for your problems, eventually you're gonna have a breakdown. Eventually. So you see what we were taught in the church, how it's not good for our mental health. That's why you have people so depressed. We blame our husband, we blame the devil, we blame the government. That's why. So that's what this is. When you come to the knowledge of all this, you see our system is set up for the pharmaceuticals to prosper. Then your mental health, you're blaming your mother, you're blaming your father, you're blaming this, you're blaming this, you're blaming that. No self responsibility. You are a divine being. You are the master of your domain. You have the God power, the God energy within you. Why are you blaming other people? Huh? Why are you blaming other people? Yeah. 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 And these things break you down eventually. If you're always going to think it's something outside of you causing problem, you're going to have a mental breakdown, physically, mental, and emotionally. Emotional breakdown. Mm, yeah. If they can monitor and work on this tendency to exercise control, judge others, and exonerate themselves from blame, and can eventually give their soul full mastery of their personality, the breakdown of whatever kind it is will ultimately disappear completely. Okay? So if this message find you and those you're judgmental, you're judging others, and absorbing yourself from any responsibility, if that's you and you change the way you think, exercise control, if you can work on the tendency to exercise control, judge others and exonerate themselves from blame, and can eventually give their soul full mastery in their personality, give your soul full mastery in your personality, the breakdown of whatever kind it is will ultimately disappear completely. Yeah. If during conflict with another you give time, space, and understanding, but only encounter stubborn resistance in the form of continual statements of personal aggrieved feeling, then you are dealing with ego blindness. And the only thing to do is laugh, concede defeat, and walk away. Yeah, there has to be a point where you'll be like, yeah, that's it. So if you're in person having conflict, and some people, as it mentioned, they're always gonna blame, no fault, take no fault. You can't. What they said, you can't. You can't kick a dead dog. Is that what they said? Our problems in life are a reflection of what we have not come in terms with, dealt with internally, and transmuted. Exactly, sis. Exactly. Exactly. We don't understand that our outer lives reflects what's going on the inside. We don't understand that. Yes. Yeah. And transmitted. Yeah. We haven't understood that. Yeah. Yeah. So if during a conflict with another person you give time, space, and understanding, but only encounter stubborn resistance in the form of continual statement of personal aggrieved feeling, then you are dealing with ego blindness. Ego blindness. Oh, this word is powerful. And the only thing to do is to laugh, concede defeat, and walk away. Walk away. Because some people will never see themselves. They never see the path they play in any conflict. It's always you, you, you. So that's causing ego called that's called ego blindness. Ego blindness. Yeah. Providing you walk away with forgiveness and understanding of their controlling ego, you may have conceded defeat, but you gained victory over self and refrained from introducing negative vibrations into your consciousness field. Yes, yes, exactly. Protect your energy. Protect your energy. You walk away, and especially if you're raising your consciousness, you know, just just walk away. Just walk away. Trying to raise your consciousness, vibrational energy, and you can see what's going on. And the ego in me want to be like, oh sis, you don't see that you're totally blinded by your ego? You don't see that you're totally blinded by your ego? Hmm? That's what the ego in me wants to say. But that's going to cause other energy and blowing up and talking. So you'll be like, you just walk away. You just walk away. Mm. Walk away with forgiveness and understanding of their controlling ego. You may have conceded defeat, but you gained a victory over self and refrain from introducing negative vibrations into your consciousness field. The very worst thing you can do to promote discord is to tell a person they shouldn't feel a certain way or they do not mean what they are saying. These two sayings are a gross violation of the dignity and respect due to the other, and you have rejected the human reality of the other person. Mm. Well, two things. Don't tell someone they shouldn't feel a certain way or they do not mean what they're saying. Don't tell anyone that. You may question a person. Do you really mean what you're saying? If the answer is yes, then it must be accepted and the discussion should continue from that point. Never ignore what another person is trying to tell you because you do not want to face up to what is being said. This is cowardice and give points to your ego. Be brave and listen with both ears, open to receive the truth behind the words. Yeah. So you may question what a person do, what a person, you may question a person. Do you really mean what you're saying? If the answer is yes, then it must be accepted and the discussion should continue from that point. Never ignore what another person is trying to tell you because you do not want to face up to what is being said. This is cowardice and give points to your ego. Be brave and listen with both ears, open to receive the truth behind the words. You must accept the reality of a person, whether you agree with it or not. Even if a facet causes you shock or displeasure, remember do not know remember you do not know the full circumstances out of which that human consciousness has grown into its present form. If you judge, criticize, condemn in any way, you have erected a barrier between yourself and that person which will not be removed, no matter how much you may wish to overlook everything negative in him and become friends in the future. Unknowingly, you may reject in him unknowingly what you reject in him will remain in your consciousness as a foundation for future discords, which will build up and eventually outweigh the affection. So you must accept the reality of a person, whether you agree with it or not, even if a facet causes you shock or displeasure. Oh, this is hard for me. Yeah, this is so hard for me. Let me hear what Conscious Cat is saying. This was great and such a much needed message. I sent it to my siblings and I hope they will listen to this and apply. I am going to shower now and sleep. I'll catch the rest when I wake up. Blessings, sister. Oh, I love that for you and chosen to speak the knowledge of truth. Thank you, my sister. As always, thank you. Have a great night. Hope you get some rest. Thank you for spending some time tonight with Deep Ministry. Oh, you must, yeah, you must accept the reality of a person, whether you agree with it or not. Even a facet cause you shock or displeasure. Remember, you do not know the full circumstances out of which that human consciousness has grown into its present form. So accept everybody's reality, whether you agree with it or not. Basically, saying, we don't have the power to criticize anyone's reality because we don't know what that person been through. We don't know what how that person grown up, how her that person past has allowed them to think that way. And that's why I want to have something that if, someone want to talk about past traumas and all that, give them an avenue to express themselves. Try not to criticize. This is I don't need for me. Let me put it in red. Let me put it in red. You know, I remember in COVID when I hear about certain people taking the vaccine, I literally feel my heart ache because I'm like, oh my gosh, no, not that person, not that person. So now I see, let everybody be, everybody is their own God, you know, let them be. All right, so I'm going to read this last paragraph and then we're going to close tonight. If you judge, criticize, condemn in any way, you have erected a barrier between yourself and that person which will not be removed, no matter how much you may wish to overlook everything negative in him and become friends in the future. Unknowingly, what you reject in him will remain in your consciousness as a foundation for future discords, which will build up and eventually outweigh the affection. Unwittingly, you will say things in the future reflecting your underlying secret mistrust or displeasure. Instead of accepting his weakness with love and helping him deal with and overcome them, you will put him on his guard against you and he will never fully trust you. Your ego and his ego will have had a secret battle which neither of you will be aware of consciously. And I'm gonna highlight right here because this is what happens sometimes. Or we judging other people, um, and you see them. We judging other people, and you see them. Maybe we judge them in the past, and when you see them, there's a battle taking place underneath. People, listen. We have to understand that we're energy, and nothing's secret. We allow our thoughts and emotions and our judgments to just run freely, but energy does not die. These things doesn't go away unless you balance them. That's the only way energy, um I'm not even going to say die. Energy needs to be balanced because it has to be transformed into something else. It has to be transformed. Love could turn to hate. Remember, your life is a state of consciousness in which thoughts and feelings are deposited as in a safety box. Let acceptance and caring be the steel of which the box is made. Oh, this is this is powerful. And I'm gonna leave this here tonight. And I'm gonna put it in red. I'm gonna put it in red. And put it in red. It says, remember, your life is a state of consciousness in which thoughts and feelings are deposited. Your life is a state of consciousness in which thoughts and feelings are deposited as in a safety box. Let acceptance and caring be the steel of which the box is made. Acceptance and caring be the steel that the box is made of. That the box is made of. Please let that be the case. Let that be the case. All right. So that's it for tonight. We'll continue next week as Christ's letters is teaching us how to resolve our conflict, how to be more acceptant, how to accept each other, how to accept each other, how to resolve our quarrels and disputes. We want to make a better world, and we have to start with ourselves. We have to start with ourselves. We have to take responsibility for the things that we do. We have to continue to love one another. Love, 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 love. All right, Father, Mother God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for this word that has gone forward. Father, we thank you for those that have joined us tonight. We thank you for those that my sister couldn't be here tonight. Father, we thank you for the viewers. We thank you for those who will be listening at another time. Father, I pray that this word will just go as much energy will take it to whoever needed it tonight, Father. Mother God, we're thankful. We're thankful for your blessings. We're thanking you for watching over us and keeping us always. Bless us as we go tonight. Bless our homes, bless our families. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're grateful, we're grateful, we're thankful. We pray for strength wherever we're weak. And we thank you for giving us this beautiful world to be a part of. Thank you. We give you honor, we give you glory, we give you praise. We say thank you.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Hey, sis, I
Amen.
didn't know you joined.
Yeah, I'm here.
How you feeling? Everything all okay?
All is well. All is well. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All
Yep.
right.
Powerful message.
Yes,
Nice.
yes, yes. The Christ letter seems like it knows when we need something.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
That's what we've learned about the Christ letters. And we're thankful for Conscious Cat. It was nice to be in the
Oh
chat
yeah,
today.
yeah, she going to bed now.
Yeah,
I
she
know.
going to
I
bed.
heard her signing off. Uh-huh.
Blessings, blessings. Okay, sis, have a good
All right.
night. We'll
Okay,
catch
have
up.
a blessed night. Okay, bless you.
Blessings.